and toothpaste, and dentists are mind-controlled to believe that fluoride prevents cavities and is not harmful to brain function or thyroid function, which it is. The addition of fluoride to the public water supply and to toothpaste is to dumb down Americans, by on average lowering the operational IQ and making folks much more docile than they would normally be. Programs to develop and deploy vaccinations to dumb down children and create huge numbers of future chronic health problems were initiated. Doctors have been mind-controlled and misled by biased research that was cherry-picked, ignoring any studies that were negative, and that included most of them. All vaccine cell lines are contaminated with SV40, a known carcinogenic slow-acting virus. The KM used its monetary power to gain control over all of the allopathic medical schools and set up and controlled the American Medical Association and other medical societies in order to make sure their agenda based on lies and deceit was continued. Part of this massive plan to dumb down and mind control the American masses was the KM's buying up and consolidating all the American mass media into 6 controlled major mass media, CMMM, owned and controlled by their cutouts on their behalf. The CMMM functions as an illegal news cartel, and it should be broken up under antitrust laws for inflicting espionage and illegal propaganda as a weapon of war against the American people. The Rothschild KM chieftains decide that it is time to use America to complete their final takedown and occupation of the whole world by instituting a major false flag attack inside America to blame on the Islamics, whom they want America to wrongly attack on their behalf. So the KM chieftains use their top Israeli-American, Israeli-first dual citizens living in America, aka the PNACers and top neocon cutouts, to plan a major nuclear attack on America on 9/11/01. Bibi Netanyahu, the operational head of the KM, deployed the Mossad and these dual citizens to set up and institute this attack on America, which was to be blamed by the CMMM on Muslims. They informed their top rabbis and friends of world Zionism not to fly on that day and to stay out of NYC, as did Larry Silverfish, one of the primary men involved in the operation. They used their main cutout in the DoD to lure the able danger investigators to the Pentagon Naval Intel meeting room, where they would be assassinated by a Tomahawk cruise missile that was fired from an Israeli Dolphin-class diesel submarine bought from Germany. 35 of the able danger investigators who were investigating and tracking the Israeli theft of 350 decommissioned W-54 Davy Crockett nuclear pits out of the back door at Pantex in Texas were murdered by this Tomahawk hit, which was timed with the detonation of bombs pre-planted in the Naval Intel Wing, which was newly hardened to no avail. The Israeli Mossad front company, Urban Moving Systems, was used to transport the mini-nukes made from the stolen W-54 nuclear pits from Pantex and originally made at the Hanford processing plant, where they were stored in the Israeli embassy in NYC and transported to the Twin Towers for detonation on 9/11/01. Baal, aka Malak, Lucifer, Satan. Take your pick. It's the same evil spirit that wants to mass murder all humans. In exchange for doing his dirty work, he rewards those who allow him to snatch their souls by giving them incredible riches, fame, and power. This is the secret blood contract called selling one's soul. The incredibly evil secret agenda of the KAZARIENNE mafia, KM, is now revealed publicly for the very first time by VT's own Gordon Duff. We now know that Bibi Netanyahu ran the nuclear attack on America on 9/11/01 and did it as an overall KAZARIENNE mafia, KM, agenda. Hold on to your chair. This is a very big secret and explains a lot of what has been going on inside America, all caused by Israel and the KAZARIENNE mafia, KM, which has infiltrated almost all of America's institutions of government and society. Now, for the first time ever, the very specific, secret, incredibly evil agenda of the KAZARIENNE mafia, KM, is going to be revealed thanks to an interview that Mike Harris had with VT's senior editor and director Gordon Duff on his talk show, The Short End of the Stick, on 3/10/15. I have heard a lot of shocking insider secrets over the years, but this one really takes the cake and explains exactly what Israel and its minions in America have been to us on behalf of the Rothschild KAZARIENNE mafia, KM, that has screwed up almost every aspect of our lives, creating a poor economy, lots of unemployment and underemployment, massive crime, alcoholism and drug, screwed up schools that dumb down the kids, various eugenics programs like fluoride in the public water and toothpaste, and mercury in vaccines, which are a big fraud, and rampant political corruption. This interview is now sending shockwaves around the world. And when you consider the content that Gordon Duff disclosed for the first time anywhere publicly, you will be shocked. And you will understand that Bibi Netanyahu is the operational head of the KAZARIENNE mafia, KM, and was the one that ordered and supervised the Israeli nuclear attack on America on 9/11/01. In this interview, Gordon Duff disclosed a written transcript of what was said at a meeting between Bibi Netanyahu and an American trader and some other spies in 1990. Gordon Duff disclosed that Netanyahu was a KGB spy like Jonathan Pollard, and we know now that Israel was started as a satellite of Bolshevik Russia and was quite unhappy when the Soviet Union fell. Benjamin Netanyahu was meeting at Fink's Bar in Jerusalem, a well-known Mossad watering hole. Here is what he said, as taken directly from the transcript of the recording, which was witnessed and has been 100% fully authenticated. If we get caught, they will just replace us with persons of the same cloth. So it doesn't matter what you do, America is a golden calf, and we will suck it dry, chop it up, and sell it off piece by piece until there is nothing left but the world's biggest welfare state that we will create and control. Why? Because it's God's will, and America is big enough to take the hit so we can do it again, and again. This is what we do to countries that we hate. We destroy them very slowly and make them suffer for refusing to be our slaves. This is exactly what the Rothschild KAZARIENNE mafia, KM, has been doing to America since it successfully infiltrated and hijacked America in 1913. Knowledge of what Bibi said on behalf of the Rothschild KAZARIENNE mafia, KM, should make us all furious and get motivated to drive these evil creatures out of America and take our great republic back. When Bibi Netanyahu mentions God's will, the God he was referring to is Baal, also known as the Great Owl or Moloch, the God these Khazarians believe requires them to worship him by constant bloodletting and painful human sacrifice and mass murder, and that if they sell their souls to Baal, aka Lucifer or Satan, do this, they will be rewarded with incredible riches, fame, and great power. When they sell their souls, what actually happens is that their souls are snatched away and they become inhuman or soulless and take on the characteristics of Baal, that is, they become increasingly psychopathic and evil. What Bibi Netanyahu was discussing was the upcoming nuclear attack on America on 9/11/01, and when he mentioned they will just replace us, he was referring to the top circle of 12, the group he answers to that VT's own columnist and talk show host, Stu Webb, disclosed to the world by identifying 11 of the 12, who call themselves the Illuminati, or Disciples of Satan. These men do semi-annual child sacrifices in Denver and eat the hearts of children and drink their blood after they pedophile them. Folks, we must get this information out to everyone we can, then unite and drive these soulless Baal-worshipping scum out of every nook and cranny of America and bring them all to justice and final judgment for all their incredible evil. Anyone who understands what Bibi Netanyahu thinks of Americans as a golden calf to asset strip and slaughter should be enraged and driven to community organizing and political action against Israeli espionage inside America through the Federal Reserve System, AIPAC, JINSA, the Defense Policy Board, the CFR, and the like. The Rothschild KM planted 25 nukes in major American cities and other major cities in Europe in order to blackmail the associated government. This is referred to as their Samson option and was first discovered and disclosed by Seymour Hersh. The Rothschild KM also gained some S-19 and S-20 warheads from a corrupt member of Congress assigned the task to buy up Ukrainian MIRVs on behalf of the USG in order to decommission them. Instead, he sold them to the Israelis and split the money with other key congressmen involved. This is high treason and a capital offense punishable by execution. Right after their attack on America, the Rothschild KM told the U.S. administration that they would detonate city-buster-sized nukes in some American cities, including D.C., if the administration refused to allow Israel to create their own large police state occupation force inside America, based on the consolidation of all American law enforcement and alphabets under one central Israeli control. This new Israeli occupation force, called Homeland Security, DHS, was initially run by dual citizens and perverts. Former DHS Director Janet Napolitano is being sued for sexual harassment of men working at DHS, whom she ordered to move their offices into the men's lavatory. Dual citizen traitor Michael Chertoff, a name translated from Russian as son of the devil, was the criminal mastermind that set up DHS, along with the former head of the East German Stasi, Markus Wolf, who was hired as a special consultant and died mysteriously as soon as his mission was completed. The Rothschild KM never thought they would get exposed for their nuclear attack on America on 9/11/11, but they made one of the biggest tactical mistakes in history and overplayed their hand from excess hubris based on too much easy success due to their extreme money power in the past. Soon, mainstream America will know that Bibi Netanyahu and his Likud party deployed the attack on America on 9/11/1 on behalf of the Rothschild KM. They thought that they had complete control over the CMMM and could prevent any of the secret IAEA and Sandia Labs investigations from ever being released to the American public. They made a serious tactical error because now the truth about their role in the 9/11/01 attack on America is being published on the worldwide internet, the world's new Gutenberg press. What the Rothschild KM did not understand was the power of the internet and how truth nuggets published and broadcast on it resonate with the people of the world and spread like wildfire at the speed of light. Truth is being diffused to the masses everywhere. This incredible tactical error by the KM is so great that it will actually doom them to the complete exposure and eventual complete destruction they deserve. Bibi Netanyahu's order to proceed and deliver the nuclear attack on America on 9/11/01 will go down in history as one of the KM's biggest mistakes, and the one that will be blamed for their exposure and destruction by the world that is now ganging up against them. The Russians have now leaked the IAEA, and Sandia Labs and Able Danger files are given to them by Edward Snowden. Soon, all of these files will be provided to all Americans in the world via the internet, and this cannot be stopped. A number of Russians in the high military command in Russia and in the highest positions of leadership in the Russian government realized that it was the same organized crime cabal that organized the KAZARIENNEs into Bolsheviks to mass murder 100 million innocent Russians. And these men want payback. That is why they are making sure that the Rothschild banksters will be put out of business, which will decapitate the KAZARIENNE mafia from its endless, elastic counterfeit money supply. This is why the BRICS Development Bank was created, to replace the US petrodollar as the world's reserve currency. But this one, unlike the US petrodollar, is backed by gold, silver, and real commodities, with no counterfeiting allowed. The CMMM is failing, and most Americans no longer believe any of their primetime national stories, especially the under 30 crowd, who cherry-pick facts from the internet and construct their own beliefs. So many internet users now reject the CMMM that the truth about the Israelis attacking America on 9/11/01 is becoming easier each day to believe. Soon all of mainstream America will know that Bibi Netanyahu and his Mossad and dual citizens did the 9/11/01 attack on America. The American military high command knows that Bibi Netanyahu ordered his Mossad and stateside dual citizens to attack America using nukes on 9/11/01 on behalf of the Rothschild KAZARIENNE mafia, KM. Various deep cover covert operations are now being deployed globally to expose and decapitate the Rothschild KM from their endless elastic money supply. Their days of anti-human power are now limited. The secret, incredibly well-trained U.S. team called the Nuclear Snake Eaters is now hard at work searching all incoming Israeli diplomatic pouches and shipments, driving by and flying over synagogues and Israeli embassies and Mossad safe houses with high-tech gamma-ray and helium-3 neutron detectors, and using ultra-high-tech custom-tuned and focused satellites to search for any stored nuclear pits, as well as working hard to recover all stolen nuclear pits by the Israelis anywhere in the world outside of Israel. This super elite team was alerted by Michael Shrimpton's phone call to MI6, notifying them that an Israeli city buster was planted near the Olympic Stadium. This call wrongly has landed him in jail. The city buster was recovered by the Nuclear Snake Eaters, who entered England and recovered and disarmed a large city buster. Sadly, MI6 wanted this nuke detonated in order to gain more power for the KAZARIENNE mafia in England, their home base inside the City of London financial district, since it has been losing power fast. A secret name for these KM chieftains, which run much of the world out of the City of London, is Gog and Magog, despite what so many historians believe is the secret name of Russia, which it is not. It is the secret name of the top KM, and apparently represents where they originally came from. The secret team of super elite Nuclear Snake Eaters is ready to be deployed to Israel anytime, should the nation collapse after most European corporations divest from Israel, and the U.S. cuts off all aid in order to comply with American law. It is illegal to give aid to a nation that has nukes and which has not signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement. Israel has nukes detectable from satellite-based helium-3 sensors and has never admitted it, nor has it signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Agreement. We must all demand that our Congress and administration obey the law and immediately cut off all aid, monetary and military aid to Israel, and arrest all Israeli espionage front directors of AIPAC, JINSA, the Defense Policy Board, the Joint in NYC, and the ADL, etc. It is unknown but suspected that a significant number of these stolen nukes have been already recovered. It has been reported by insiders that a very solemn message was communicated to Bibi Netanyahu and his Licudists, as well as all top members of Israeli espionage fronts in America. What was this serious warning? If insider reports are accurate, these folks were told that if there is one more Israeli-based false flag attack, those who ordered it or were involved will be hunted down under American national security and eliminated, and the Israeli defense structures associated with such will be turned to dust. The rest of Rothschild KM history will likely be determined by you. The future of the Rothschild KM will likely be determined by VT readers, and we, the people who learn the secret, forbidden history of the KAZARIENNE mafia that was excised from the history books and libraries by the KM to protect their evil history that no one would accept if it was known. So share this story with your family, friends, and associates, and take it viral.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion. This means greater coverage and analysis of international news, for it is no longer far away and foreign, but close at hand and local. It means greater attention to improved understanding of the news, as well as improved transmission. And it means, finally, that government at all levels must meet its obligation to provide you with the fullest possible information outside the narrowest limits of national security. And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance, confident that with your help, man will be what he was born to be, free and independent.